Let's look at how a communication compliance policy is created. Go to policies, select create policies, detect inappropriate content, select this particular policy, provide the policy name here. You can scope this policy to all users in the organization, or you can select a specific users. So for now, for the demo purpose, let's consider all users. Then you can add a reviewer who would be reviewing these policies, the alerts which are generated by these policies. The next part is you can customize the policy. If you want to add few more trainable classifiers in this policy for this policy to monitor, then you can add that. The communications that we want to detect is scoped for Teams and Viva Engage. This can be extended to emails and Copilot interactions in customized policy option. Then the conditions and percentages. So the communication direction is currently showing as internal. It can be inbound, outbound, or internal. So inbound is any communication that is happening from external to internal to organization. And the outbound is any communication that is happening from within organization to outside organization. Whereas internal is all the communications happening within the organization. You can change this. You can add inbound, outbound options as well in customized policy option. The next is percentage to review is 100% here. So when it is 100%, that means this policy would be reviewing all messages which are happening through Teams and Viva Engage within the organization. This can be made to 10%, 50%, 80%, or any can be adjusted to any percentage. Based on the percentage which is set, the policy will be monitoring those number of messages or communications. This can be done through customized policy option. Then optical character recognition. This is currently disabled. Let's say certain communications has images and images are embedded with text. Then if you select enable optical character recognition, then this particular policy will extract the text from that image and check for the whether the content is appropriate or not. This can be customized through customized policy option. Filter email blasts. So in case of certain email blasts, you can actually disable this. That means you can the policy, if it is disabled, then the policy would be still looking for inappropriate content on email blasts, or if it is enabled, then the policy will ignore checking email blasts. The content that is mainly searched by this policy is sexual content, violence, hate, and self-harm. You can further add more trainable classifiers through customized policy to this list. Once you click on create policy, the policy would get created. Now let's look at what is customized policy options. What are the options which are available in that? Select customized policy, enter the description, select next. I would add an appropriate description here. Percent of this policy will monitor 100% of communications happening through Teams and Viva Engage across all users of the organization. This policy will generate an alert if it finds any communication which involves inappropriate content as per the provided details. as per the configuration. Now let's click on next. So let the users and groups be all users. You can exclude users and groups here. You can add more reviewers here. Click on next. You can scope this policy to Exchange or Microsoft 365 Copilot as well, along with Teams and Viva Engage. Click on next. You can include inbound and outbound communication directions as well. Then you can add any trainable classifiers to this particular policy. I can add threat or profanity or targeted harassment. Once it is added, then go to optical character recognition. If you want this policy to use OCR, then select use OCR to extract text from images. The next part is to adjust whether the review percentage should be 100 or 50 or 0 or 10 or 70, anything based on that. So I'll let it be 100%. By selecting filter email blast, this policy will filter out all email blasts. However, this is disabled here because this policy is not scoped for emails. Click on next and then select create policy. It will create the policy accordingly. So now we see that this policy is created. It will become active in next 1 hour. Once activated, the policy will start detecting communications as little as an hour. So that is how a policy is created through communication compliance. Let's look at alert section here.